Well, good morning and welcome to our breakfast devotional for the first day of the fast. In the 6th chapter of the book of Matthew, we're going to see part of a sermon that Jesus was preaching. We actually talked about it this last Sunday. In this particular chapter, Jesus gives 3 different when you statements. He says, when you give to the needy, and then gives some instruction. He says, when you pray, and then he gives some instruction. And he also says, when you fast, and then he gives some instruction. We can extract from that Jesus expects us to be people that give, expects us to be people that pray, and expects us to be people that fast. So while this may be a new spiritual discipline that you're picking up, it's a normal part of the Christian faith. In chapter 6, verse 16 through 17, it says, "And when you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces, that their fasting may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, that your fasting may not be seen by others, but by your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you." This does not mean that fasting is some sort of top secret assignment that you swear an oath of silence on. If someone asks you about it, feel free to tell them about what God is teaching you. In the same manner, don't go around looking like someone who is intentionally neglecting themselves to seem super spiritual. Get yourself ready today like you do every day. Make sure you're looking good. Be ready to tackle the day because God is going to use you today. God's going to stretch you today. So take a few minutes and read the rest of chapter 6 and chapter 7 in the book of Matthew and pray that God would make one of the verses stand out to you and pick that verse to meditate on. I personally like to take the SOAP approach, S-O-A-P. Once you've identified the scripture, that's what the S stands for, scripture. Take some time and observe it. What's going on in that verse? What's going on around that verse? Who's the verse directed to? And what are some of the principles you can take from it? Then figure out how to apply it. If the verse is about worry, what are the things that you're worried about? And how can that scripture help you not to worry as much? Maybe take some time to find some other verses about worry and then reframe how you look at your circumstance. And last but certainly not least, you want to take time to pray about it. Pray through what God is showing you. Take some time to sit quietly with no distractions as God speaks back to you deep in your spirit. Here's a couple tips for you as you go through the day and as you start off this day. Number 1, pray often throughout the morning. Number 2, drink lots of water. 3, expect headaches and hunger pains and cravings for sugar and caffeine. You've probably skipped breakfast before and been perfectly fine, but today might be a little bit different. The reason why is because today is a spiritual battle that you're going through. And number 4, listen to praise and worship music as much as possible throughout the morning and continue to reflect back on this meal you had earlier today.